Alright, so what we are going to do here, we are going to do something real quick on load runner. We have around 37 minutes. Within this 37 minutes we are going to do some very effective load runner thing that you will be seeing is it will be really helpful. So whatever you are doing, whatever you can shut off your computer, just focus on screen here. But before that what I am going to show a couple of things. One of you are like your virtual machine, it is keeping updating your computer, keep updating. So that virtual machine you don't need to upgrade it. In the virtual machine you have installed a Windows 7, it doesn't need any kind of update. We do not need any kind of update on that. So what you do, you have to stop that update. How will you stop that update? You go to your control panel, and can you see Windows Update here? Sometimes you will see your icons look bigger. Can you see? I can see many icons, but you will see your icon look bigger and you do not see all of these options. Then what you do, you click here, right? You click here and you change the setting. Now here, let's say I'm selecting category. Can you see? Now I can see less icons, right? So what you do in your case, you select small icons,
So you can see
all of them, and after that then you will see, can you see that Windows Update?
Right.
You click on it, and after clicking on this Windows Update, can you see this change settings?
Right.
And over there you select never check for updates. For updates, you will see there are many options here. You select never check for updates. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you click OK, Master?
Yeah. Then you click OK. Don't forget to click OK.
If it's not okay, then it's not okay.
Okay. All right. So we are here. We did it. Okay. Now, let me tell you what we are going to do today. Remember, we previously had one script that we developed, right? We developed a script that was registering the user to the Web2 website that comes with HP, and then it was logging in and log out. We already have a script, right? Besides that, I'm going to have another script.
Today.
Yeah, and so far you have seen that we have executed all of the tests for certain number of iterations. So far we have executed all of our tests for certain number of iterations. Today we are going to execute for certain number of time, not certain number of iterations. You will see we are going to do like previously we said execute it 100 iterations, 10 iterations in that way. Now what we are going to do, we are going to execute it for a certain period of time. Let's say 10 minutes,
Time wise.
5 minute time wise, not like iteration wise.
Not run up to the completion.
Reality, you do not run it for iteration. You run it for
Time.
many of the situation. I'm not saying reality, many of the situation you run it for certain time. I'll answer your question. And I'm going to execute multiple script in the same scenario. So
That's the
far,
real performance.
yeah. So far we had executed only one script at a time. What I am going to do here, I am going to
Run
multiple script in the same scenario, and I'll show you how you do that. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Our goal, is it clear? Now what is the question you?
Is it for one iteration or multiple iteration?
It will be, remember here iteration is not a factor.
No, it's a time.
Here factor is time.
Yeah.
But when you are running for a certain amount of time,
Yeah.
make sure you have one iteration. Okay? Alright.
You mean make sure one iteration or
Make sure
at least one
from
iteration?
control panel you have one iteration.
In work life,
so
definitely
one
One iteration.
If someone comes with a no multiple iteration, we don't agree with that, right?
No, you don't agree. Now, let's take a look here, guys. So, I'm going to take a look what was that script. So, I guess this was my script that I have used for registering user, logging in and log out. Farhana, so are you understanding what we are saying? You were very good when we started it. You were doing things before everyone. Now it seems you are behind everyone. Why is that? Because you didn't keep pace with the class.
Maintaining cyclic order.
You didn't compete with your classmates. Some of you still I can see your weakness, but most of you I am seeing that at least you are able to execute the script, right? So Said and Shimul Bhai, I'm not sure, probably you did as well, but Shimul Bhai, I didn't see a solid performance from you. I didn't see a solid performance from you and Farhana. So you want to work on it. Whatever time it needs, you need to work on it. You need to come to see whatever we are doing in the class. By this skill, you can start applying on load runner job. By whatever we did, you can start applying on load runner job, because it is fair enough. It is fair enough for interview. This knowledge to start a job.
Is it
Nah.
fair enough to start working though?
To start working
company, yeah. I mean, like
in a
now I
company,
understand.
as I said, you can be a helper. You can be a helper. You cannot work
If
independently.
what is like this, inshallah, we can go.
If you get a job, then you will do whatever you need to keep your job. Then you will. It doesn't matter if you need to work over the night. You will be learning. But to get into a job, you have very good base to get
At the
into a job
moment.
at the moment on load runner.
You still need to learn how to analyze, right?
Yeah.
Myself.
You need to, whatever we did, you need to clear your concept 100%. 100%. Actually, whatever we did, you need to clear your concept 110% clear on it. That means 100% plus 10%. Something that was gap, you need to bring it. Right. Now, let's take a look at our script here. So, this script, what we are doing by this script, we yeah, everything is there. Everything is there. So what do you want to do? If you want to look it from YouTube, actually you want to go to my website, and
Can
from
you show that one more time? Please?
if you want to go to my website, QA questions, and no QAquestions.org,
Right.
and can you see load runner
Okay.
tutorials?
Yes.
You keep looking videos from here. All the videos are sequential here.
Like if I start from the first video.
Everything is sequential here. Some of the video you will see that. Let me show you a video. Can you see here? Introduction to performance testing bandwidth analysis, performance single user bandwidth analysis 2, right? Some of the classes I took it with multiple batches. So if you see 2, if you have watched one of the video, you might skip the
Two.
next one. Let's say load runner scripting recording option and replay and parameters, right? You will see parameters 2.
So you don't need two.
You might skip. First you do the
First one.
first one and skip the next one, and when you are done with everything, then you come to the
So I
2.
have to go to automate.com
No, QAquestions.org.
Question.org.
and then you click
So
on
if you go there, Farhana, what do you do? If you come here, if you type QA questions org, you don't need to type org. If you type QA questions, right, you will see my site. Actually, if you go to Google and type QA questions, you will get it. Now, guys, let's come here. So we have a script. We have a script that is what it is doing. Actually, that is registering the user, right, and then logging in, and then finally log out. But this script probably will not work. So what we will have to do here, we will have to change the
Data.
parameters data, because these users are already registered, right? So what I am going to do here, HP, instead of HP perf, I am going to put Control H, HP perf, I am going to put it
Software test.
LR perf, and replace all. That's it. and these passwords looks different, right? For every user password is different, right? We can change it, but I'm not really going to change it. I'm going to keep it as it is. Yeah. So our data is taken care of, right? Now, lot of you, what you did,
If the password is changed, it doesn't really matter because we are putting.
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No.
You're getting the same line anyway.
Yeah. But password, it is, I prefer for every user password is same. Here password is different. If you want to troubleshoot, you will have to come here for this user, what is the password,
Okay.
right? Now take a look here. What is the first parameter here?
User ID.
What is the first parameter here? P user ID. So click on the first parameter and select unique. Each iteration continue in cyclic manner. What is the second parameter here? P password. Click on here. You come here by name P password and same line as P user ID, right? Our first script, we are planning multiple script in the scenario. Our first script is good. Now let's take a look what is the second script we have. Now if you go to open, probably I have some other script that I can actually, should I create a new script? It will take a little bit time.
If you have one, you can use it.
Thousands of scripts.
Actually,
If you said no, there is a, can you do this?
yeah, I already have a script, but what I was planning is, to show some other functionalities to you, but actually we can do that in the next class. Now let's take a look here. I am going to take another script from this folder. Now let's say this manual correlation, right? Let's see what is that manual correlation script. So in this manual correlation, what was the application? This one, was it new tools? No, we do not want to work on new tools. Open script, manual correlation, demo app, login, sign up users, login, right? Let me see what is that login. So is it web tools? Yeah, this is web tools, right?
So my quick question. In
Sure.
real life, when you use the script for new users to sign up, do you use the if condition or you just do it just like that without if?
We do if condition.
Definitely,
Yeah,
right?
we have lot of if condition. Guys, can you follow me here? Let's say this is script, right? So I'm going to put in, if you take a look here in the parameter file, I don't have any parameter, right? So I'll have to parameterize it. So before I parameterize it, let me see how many users. Let me start the browser. HP web to server, HP web. Actually this user will not work in the virtual machine, so I'll have to create this user in the virtual machine. Okay, let's
Load runner will work.
I'm going to start this virtual user generator from here, and I'm going to quickly take a look what script I have here. I'll be using this script with the controller. let me start this. Let's see what I have in the manual correlation. So I am trying to open a script, and I will see if that script I can plug with that controller. Yeah,
So that way we can do more than 2, right?
more than 2. Yeah.
So the both scripts could be using the same application, different application.
No, same application. You can bring. We do not normally test multiple application at a time.
At the time, okay.
Now, okay, so this is again new tools. So I don't want to work. Actually, in this case, let's no, I don't want to test multiple application. Let's open a script from somewhere. We will go to the there and then performance testing, and then the scripts. My computer seems running pretty slow because of lot of thing here.
Then here the see like temp and detail this one more clear.
Which one, Navid?
Control R
Mhm.
and then temp person then temp EMP again person then enter and clear all three.
All the temp files.
Yeah, temp files and prefix PREFPCA.
Mhm.
Same thing you can run see clear you can go faster.
Yeah, we'll do that. Now take a look here. Now my script sample application login, we did it long before. We did it in demo app login. Let's see this one, 422 login. Let's see what is this.
Around 15 minutes.
Yeah. Now in this one, in this script, let's see. Oh yeah, this is the right script probably. So what is the name of the script? Demo app login version 001. Now if you take a look here in this one, we are logging in. We have parameters, right? If you go there, we are just logging in. Let me see how many parameters we have. So we have pretty good amount of parameters, right? So all of these should be working, but let me double check. If I execute it once, oh, I'll have to start the server, right? So it is going there, and then it is trying to,
I don't see the password parameter.
yeah, it's logging in. So this script is good. I am going to use this script with the other script. Now it is taking all of this thing time, that is fine. So one other thing, can you see here action? Let me stop this execution here. Can you see this action? You always give a meaningful name to this action. So the name that I am going to give is, this script is just login and logout. Login, logout, right? and make sure that you have think time after every transaction. Every transaction. After the end of every transaction. And your parameter file, you have.
Sometimes it's not become automatic or not?
No.
Hmm?
You need to put it there.
It comes automatic.
Think time, you need to put it here in the script. In between, can you see here one of the transaction is ending, here one of the transaction is starting. In between where you have a end transaction and you have a start transaction, you need to have a think time. So this script is good. So I have two scripts that I can use for this purpose. Now what is the other script that we are going to use? So this is one script and the other script will be performance testing, and inside, can you see this one? These two scripts we are going to use. Now we have our script ready. So what is the thing that I am going to do? I am going to start controller. So let's controller be started. Yeah. So first of all, you need to bring your script. So actually, let me.
Why do you have to go like
Okay. See here. You do not bring the script. What do you do? Come here. When you start your controller, you start your controller. Load runner controller. Yeah. Like to execute your script, you need controller, or you can execute a script from ALM or Performance Center. Performance Center we are not learning here, but you can execute a script from controller. Okay. Now so we are not browsing. See, hold on. You can select your script by browsing. Let's say your scripts are saved here. You can bring multiple scripts from here, right? You can select your script. Can you see I have selected two scripts? Okay, you can do it in that way. But I will not do it from here. What I will do, I will click File, New. I'm creating a new scenario without any script. Can you see? I have created a new scenario. Can you see it is creating a scenario, but it doesn't have any script. I am doing basic schedule, and after that I can select, I can add script from here. Can you see add script? And then you go there, browse, and wherever your script is, my one script is this one, right?
You can do either way anyway, right?
Yeah, either way, it doesn't matter. Then another script I am going to select. Can you see? I am clicking on the other row, and then I am clicking go up, and then you come here, this one, right? So I have now how many script? Two script. Now both of the script, where do I want to execute it? Localhost. Both of the script I want to execute localhost. Now I'll have to make sure that my localhost is connected. How you make sure your localhost is connected? You click on this server icon and you click. Can you see now it is down? You make sure that it is connecting successfully, right? It is. If you click here, from here it is now it is already connected. How?
The high will be low.
Can you see it is ready with this icon?
Okay.
And the disconnect.
Yeah.
If you are not connected, it will ask connect. Okay. Then I have these two scripts, right? Now, can you see 50%? I have 10 user here. I have 10 user here, and 50% of the user will be. So this is basic schedule. You can say real world scenario. If you say real world scenario, then actually I'll keep it basic schedule. I'll keep it basic.
No, Professor, very quickly in 2 lines, if you just explain again the basic schedule, selecting the basic schedule and the real world scenario.
Now,
Little bit of difference.
sure. So if you see in basic schedule, you can see 10 users, and from here
These are the basic.
it has a little bit different. You can start all users simultaneously. You have 3 options here, right? If you go to real world, then you will see you have multiple options here, right? You can initialize users, first initialize and then start view users, right? Stop view users, in that way. But if you go to basic, you have these 3 options. This is straightforward, right? So what do? You start view user. Let's say we want to start 2 view user every 1 minute. 2 view user every 1 minute.
10 seconds.
2 view user every 10 second, or you can put 20 second, or you can put whatever you like. Apply. Okay. And can you see here? Run until completion. Can you see this? You double click on this. And let's say you want to execute it for 5 minutes. You can say if you want to execute it for 2 hours, you put 2 hours here. 2 hours here, right? But we do not want to execute it for that long. We want to execute it for how long? We want to execute it for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, right? Apply. Okay. And then what we need to do? We need to do our runtime settings. Now let's do runtime settings for this one, first one, right? So if you come here, run logic, when you are doing it, when you are executing your script for a certain amount of time, you always do one iteration. Pacing, I will be keeping my pacing fixed 1 second. But normally in real life, what you do, you put a random pacing. Random pacing. Let's say we are using random pacing from 1 to 2 seconds. Then what it will do? Sometimes it will take 1 second, sometimes it will take 1 second, 2 seconds, in that way. Not always it will take 1 second, right? And in log, I am going to have extended log, parameter substitution. Think time, I am going to have, actually I am going to have a random think time here as well. I am going to remove it, and I am going to have, actually if I have a random think time, I will have to give 1% to 2%. Actually I will be giving 4% to 5%. Let's say if I have 20 seconds, 4% of 20 seconds will be 1 second or something. You understand?
Right.
Yeah.
Less than 1 second.
Less than 1 second or something. So I am going to keep it percentage. Normally you will put 20 seconds in your script, and here you will put, let's say 52, 150%. But
Based on the given in the script.
yeah, based on how many transactions you need to generate. If you need to, let's say if you put think time 200%, it will generate less transaction, because it will be waiting more rather than executing.
Right.
So if you see, when you are having an application for testing, they will be asking for this login. I want 500 login for in 1 hour, right? So if you are executing with heavier think time, you will see after the execution you have 200 login. Then you will have to adjust it,
Yeah.
right?
So it will be given, right? The time will
Yeah, they'll be asking you by 1 hour we are looking for that many transactions.
we calculate from there.
Yeah, you calculate
Figure it
from
out.
there. Yeah, you calculate it from there. But for now, let's keep it straightforward. 1 second. Does make sense? Then you go to miscellaneous. We want screenshot, right?
Yes.
And then do you want this action?
No.
No.
Well, one transaction.
Yeah. Can you see, define each action as a transaction? What it will do? If you have a 30 script, it will add this action as well. Then you will confuse your business people, because they are not that much technical. And then you come here, speed simulation, browser emulation. This browser emulation, let me give you an overview of what this browser emulation is. So let's say if you go to Google, and let's say you are browsing a site for the first time. Let's say you are browsing Facebook. When you browse Facebook for the first time, from your computer, it is getting all of the data, all of the files from Facebook server when you browse for the first time. Next time, let's say you browse first time. Next time when you go to Facebook, not all of the items will be coming from the server. Some of the items, like when you browse something, your browser save cookies and cache. Your browser, some of the item from Facebook, it saves something in your cache, in the browser cache. So next time when you go to Facebook, not all of the item it is bringing from Facebook, but some of the item it is caching. Those items are coming from cache, your browser, local browser, and some of the items are coming from Facebook server. In that way, all of the website, in that way, there is a mechanism. When they develop the site, they put that mechanism so that browser,
Server are less specialized.
so that browser can store the cache, and next time when you go to Facebook, it doesn't bring it from the Facebook server. But some of the item, every time it will have to go to Facebook server, because let's say you have changed your profile picture, right? So when you change it 5 likes, after 1 hour probably 10 likes. So when you are visiting your Facebook after 1 hour, that number of like is coming from server, right? But that image, your profile picture probably not coming from Facebook because you didn't change it. You got it? So not all of the things, summary is not all of the thing is coming from server. Some of the thing is coming from cache, some of the thing is coming from Facebook server. So what you do here, can you see simulate browser cache? By selecting this, you are saying simulate browser cache. Like when you are running your performance test, when you are running your performance test, you are simulating browser cache means like when you are going to the site for the first time, it is taking longer time, but for the next time it is not taking that long time. You understand the concept?
Yes.
So I had a situation where one application, it is taking longer duration, right? Let's say it's supposed to take 5 seconds, it's taking 10 seconds. Now the question, why it is taking 10 seconds? In reality, it is not taking 10 seconds, right? And then what we saw in our, can you see what we saw? We have this setting here. We are not simulating browser cache. Every time we are taking stuff from the server, then it is taking longer time, right? So depending on application strategy, you will have to select option here. You understand what is this browser cache, right? It is a good question for interview.
It's a very helpful thing also.
Okay, then you come here, proxy, we have no proxy, right? And in the preference, you uncheck this. Okay, now you have runtime settings for this script, right? Right? Now what you do, we want same runtime settings for the other script. You select both of these, and can you see runtime settings? Right? And can you see individual, actually shared runtime settings? I'm selecting shared runtime settings.
Right.
Now we have, can you see pacing? We do not have anything actually. Let me do. So this one, I'm trying to copy runtime settings from this one, from another script, right? Runtime settings, fixed run logic. Actually, I can do that copy from, if you are executing script in Performance Center, then you can copy runtime settings, but here it is not possible. So let me quickly change it here.
Okay, runtime setting copy possible.
Possible in when you are executing script from Performance Center.
It will have an option, right?
Yeah, it will have option. Miscellaneous, we have this.
So in that case, we individually need to do.
Yeah, individually here you, like if you have multiple
Yeah.
script, you can do it. You can select all the script and do it together, but you can copy it from one script to another.
Runtime settings.
Yeah, runtime settings. So what you can do, you can select both of the script and right click runtime settings, and then you can select shared, and then whatever runtime settings you are setting, it will be for all of the scripts.
All of them same?
Yeah, all of them will be same.
Individual, these are two.
Or you can do individual one by one. It will, when you are done with runtime settings with the first one, it will be going for the next one.
Automatically it will do that?
So if you go there, let's say now it is doing runtime settings for script 1, web user registration, right? And then when you are done with this, it will be doing for the next one. Now it will be doing for the login. Can you see app login? So it will be bringing script one by one. Okay. So our runtime settings are done. Our browser, our load generators are done. Our result settings. So we want to save our result where? We want to save our result in desktop, and we want to give a meaningful name. Let's say start recording again 0422, and let's say combination of scripts. Okay, now our everything is set up, right? Let's, how long we are going to execute it for? 5 minutes. So can I start execution? Anything else I need to do?
Server is okay. We have to know everything.
That's it, right?
Yes.
Let me start execution.
In 5 minutes,
However much it can do. It will not finish all of the 1000, however much it can do.
So how do we do like that? When we don't have enough time to do or whatever it is, we just kind of let it run like that, or
Normally, when you are running test for an hour, you don't care about how many data it covers.
you just analyze those results.
Yeah. You just run it and then analyze it on how many transactions it creates.
Here is the question. When we are talking about performance testing, we're telling that performance testing is the kind of test of the performance of the application based on the, what is the term we use? Concurrent
Performance
user,
criteria concurrent user.
user. And because every user is not really using the same part of the application.
Yeah.
Right? So how do we do that exactly? We are
Here actually we are doing, can you see this is the real performance testing, because one of the script is doing something, another script is
one is login,
login,
right?
another script is registering. So when you have 4 or 5 scripts, 4 or 5 script is doing actually 4 or 5 functionalities, different functionalities, then it makes sense. You are using different part of the application.
Actually, when we are doing different scripts together, right? Usually not from different modules, definitely it's from one module.
No, it's from different module.
Really?
Different, same application. In performance testing, we normally select scenarios, most prominent scenarios, like most business case, the important business case. Because in performance testing, in functional testing, we might have 200 test case, but in performance testing, we might have 10 or 15 test case, but 10 or 15 most usable or most used business scenarios. Now, let's take a look, guys. Here, while the test is running, you do something. Can you see we are having some errors? So you click, first you click here. Can you see that there is no failure here? All of the transaction we have, let's say, open application. This transaction will be confusing because
Two of them.
we have this. Can you see? I want you to focus one thing here. Can you see this open application? Can you tell these open? We have two open application. These open application. These open application. Can you tell which open application is from what script?
Yeah, because by the name.
Yeah.
One
No.
is 01.
01. But from which script? Both of the script has TC01.
Oh, I see.
So what do you do? If you have two test case, you name it TC01 when you are naming the transaction, TC0101, TC0102, TC0103, and for the second test case, TC0201, TC0202, 0203. In that way, then your transaction will be. it will be sequential
Meaningful
here,
and
meaningful.
easily-
You understand what I am trying to explain, right? Everyone? Naved, you understand?
In one application, you don't use the same number.
No. For every script, when you are naming your transaction, include your script number with the transaction numbers, right? I am going to give you a homework for the coming class. You will have to bring it, like whatever I am saying, you will have to bring it. Okay. Now, guys, look at here. This script name, this transaction name. By seeing that, I cannot tell from which script it is coming. I can see that there is no failures, right? But why this error message is coming? If there is no failures, then why this error message is coming? Can anyone answer me?
Why is not coming?
Why is that error message is coming? There is no failures. Script is passing, but why is this error message is coming?
Is taken.
Huh?
Is already used user? No. So we can actually.
Now, if the user is already used,
Then it will be fail anyway.
Yeah, what? Yeah, click here. Exactly. You click here to see what is that error, right?
Yeah.
So you click here. Yeah, good answer. So if you take a look, can you see CPU uses this virtual machine from where I am executing? It is acha. Then this error we don't need to worry about. And what you look, can you see? If you take a look, transaction response time. Can you see?
Yeah.
You can see all of the transaction response time here. You look at the average transaction response time, right? For all of the transaction, you can see what is the average transaction response time, right?
But we didn't put no SLA on anything, so.
But we can see what is the time it is
We can
really
see that.
taking. One other thing you mentioned, you monitor resource uses. Normally, let's say when you are executing test,
Right.
these tests are actually, you are testing the application that is hosted in a server, right? In a
Right.
server.
In the server.
From performance test, you monitor what is the uses of CPU, what is the uses of memory on those server. How you do that? You add those server in the controller. How you do that? You add those server in the controller, and then you can monitor what percentage of the CPU of that server where application is hosted. You can monitor it.
How do we add that?
So to add that, what you do, you go to hold on, monitors, scenario, load generators, tools, can you see right now we do not have any Windows resource, right? Can you see we do not have any Windows resource? This Windows resource, unique resource, like if your application is hosted on Windows server, then you monitor this Windows resource. If your application is hosted in Linux server, then you monitor this Unix resource. But right now we were not able to add any server. We were not able to monitor anything because we do not configure anything. Right click, configure, and from here what you can do, you can add different servers here. So this one, like if you are right now, we do not have any what? We are executing the test in the local host, right? So we didn't add it. So but you can set up your monitors, and then what you can do, you can monitor your resource uses while the test is being running. Does it make sense? So the summary here, when your performance test is going on, not only you monitor the response time, errors, how many transactions pass. No, you monitor what? You monitor your CPU of the server where your application is hosted. You monitor your what? You monitor the memory uses over there. You monitor some other thing, but for your learning, when the test is running, We monitor CPU resource uses of the server. Remember, this is a good interview question. While the test is running, what do? We monitor
the CPU.
we monitor the CPU uses, memory uses of the server where the application is hosted. We monitor if there is any failure. We monitor the response time. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now our execution is done.
So how did you add that? I didn't really get
Yeah. So how do you add that? Like when you are setting up your scenario, right? When you are setting up your scenario, I will cover that one in the next class.
Okay.
You add that. Okay. Now let me bring the purpose that I was. So this scenario, let's say in the next class, I want to execute the same scenario. So what you need to do? You file, save as, and performance testing. I have a folder. Let's say I am creating a folder here for test scenario. So this is test scenario. Why this is test scenario? We have incorporated multiple scripts. We have incorporated runtime settings. So now this is a test scenario. So I am creating a folder test scenario,
422.
and here let's say 2017 for 22 multiple scripts, right? Now I am going to close it. After closing, remember I have created a folder here for the results. Now if there is any error, you will see screenshot here. There was no failed transaction, that is why there is no failure here. There is no screenshot here. Otherwise you will see log, and inside the log folder you will see screenshot. Okay. Now how many iteration it was user registration? Can you see? This is the user registration. How many iteration it was able to execute? Let's say if you take a look, start iteration. Let me copy this. Right. If you keep going, can you see how many iteration it was able to execute? 26, right? So you can imagine 5 users. We have provided how many users for that script? 5 users. So if each of the users have executed 5 iteration,
132.
right? If you look at the end, so this one was able to execute. Let's see how many iteration. Search up, right? It was able to execute 28, right? So it was not able to execute all of the 100 iterations. Can you see? Does it make sense? Okay. Then for login,
Iteration is 5 for 5. So
no. We have provided 5 virtual users. Can you see? No. For this script registration, can you see virtual? This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. This is 5.
You put 50%,
Each of
right?
them are 5.
Now we have 5 user. Now 5 user was using data from the file, and each of the users, if you go inside here, you will see each of the user how many times they were able to execute the whole script.
5, right?
No, it can you see? If you keep looking, right? If you go all the way down, you will see the last iteration. Let me go up. So these user were able to execute 15 iteration. That means this one of the user that I am considering, user 1, he was able to execute 15 iteration. That means he was able to execute the script how many times? 15 times. So look at here. Now we have the log, right? Now if you look at the analysis now, your homework will be, you will have 3 scripts. I am going to send you 3 scripts. You are going to do this 3 script, and you are going to executing this 3 script, and after executing you are going to come with a complete result in the next class. Complete analysis with report. You are coming to the class. Remember your task what? Your task is, I'm going to send you 3 scripts for homework. You are going to script them,
Analyze.
execute them, analyze them, create result. If there is any error, you put a screenshot in the result.
3 script means you want to give 3 test cases. Basically.
3 test cases.
We have to create the script.
Yeah,
also.
you have to create and record. You have to do everything. Now, can you see? Do you have any action here?
No.
Right? We have all the core of the transactions, right? And we have the analysis. A couple of more things I want to show you here, guys. Let's say hits per second. Can you see hits per second? In the beginning, hits per second were less. Why? In the beginning, we were ramping up the users, right? And can you see running B users? In the beginning, we are running B users, right? Does it make sense? Now, let's say I want to see how running B users and hits per second. Hits per second, you can see it was increasing, right? Now, if I want to combine, can you see in the beginning transaction response time were low, right? Now, let's say I want to combine this running B user and hits per second, these 2 graphs. How will you do that?
Right click, merge.
Right click,
And
here you right click and what do you do? Merge graph. And you want to merge this graph running B users with hits per second. Now can you see? Can you see your, let me make it a little bit different color. Let me change the color, configure, actually auto immediate selected line filter, show all, show online. I'm going to change this column. Guys, can you see this is our running B users, right? This is our running B users. If you bring it, now can you see this is our running B user, right? Can you see when our users were ramping up, our hits per second were ramping up as well, right? Can you see? And after a certain time, when the users were ramped up, our hits per second is stable. Can you see this? Stable. Can you see our hits per second is stable? It is not that high. Why? Try to understand this concept. When the users were ramping up, hits per second is high. But once all the users are ramped up, then it is stable. Hits per second is stable and low. Why? Because remember, we have simulate browser cache. When the users were executing the first iteration, right, it was taking everything from server, then it was taking from cache. You understand this? Now you can merge graph in that way, and if you take a look at the response time, can you see in the beginning response time it is users were ramping up, and then when all the users are ramped up, then pressure on the application is a little bit high. When all the users ramped up,
Pressure is high.
more users, so then response time here, from there response time is stable. So the purpose was how you can merge graph, right? Sometimes you need to have a comparative discussion. You need to merge graph, in that way you can merge graph. Alright, so that's it. I'll send you the homework, and when you are coming in the next class, make sure you are coming with all of the homework that I am supplying you. Okay, if you do that, that will be our last class for LoadRunner, if you can complete it. And I am highly encouraging you, you finish your homework and then come fully prepared to the class, every one of you. Okay, thank you guys. Appreciate you have joined.
We're going to do the PowerPoint.
Yeah, PowerPoint as well. Total end to end. Yeah, including SLA, including everything. Alright guys, I'm going to stop recording.